Hello everybody and welcome to the overview for March's astrology. I'm Pix. I've been studying astrology for over 10 years and we have a few huge things happening this month. So I needed to check in and tell y'all what to expect because this is one of, if not the biggest month of 2023. In March, there's going to be a lot of changes. Astrologers have been looking at March 2023 like we looked at March 2020 with big old side eyes. We're side-eyeing March, and not really in a scary way, not like the Saturn-Pluto conjunction of March 2020, but we know there are going to be some majorly huge long-term changes being initiated in March. This is due to 3 malefic planets changing signs in March, very close to each other. So just a little overview before the overview. Firstly, Saturn is changing signs and entering Pisces. And Saturn has not changed signs since it entered Aquarius at the end of March 2020. Yes, that was when the pandemic officially started. Also, Pluto is changing signs on March 23rd. Pluto has not changed signs since the end of 2008. Yes, that was around the time the stock market and the housing market crashed. And then lastly, March 25th, Mars finally leaves Gemini after having been there for 7 months due to its retrograde cycle. This is probably the chillest transit of the 3, but it's just another malefic add-on to everything else. Plus, Pluto will be at 29 degrees of Capricorn most of the month, which also started in February, and I'd say that it shows. Pluto at the anaretic degree, any planet at 29 degrees of a sign will be extra intense. So Pluto is already intense, and it being at 29 degrees makes the Pluto themes even more intense. We have the power and control dynamics, the secrets, the hidden things, the obsessions, the poison, the explosions. There's a lot happening. So I just want to set the scene with that, okay? So I'm going to be talking a little bit more in depth about that in the overview, and there's a bunch of other things happening. We're going to start with the beginning of the month. Let's just hop right in, okay? March 1st, Venus conjoins Jupiter at 12 degrees Aries. And this is a super exciting transit. It's one of the best things that can happen, the 2 benefics conjoining. So when Venus and Jupiter come together, you can get ready for an increase in love, beauty, pleasure. Jupiter's energy can make everything feel more luxurious and extravagant by expanding the Venetian qualities. So you might find yourself indulging in fun activities like fancy dinners or spa treatments or going on a shopping spree. This is like the hedonistic transit. Your relationships might feel a little bit more joyful and abundant during this time, and you could be inspired to seek out new sources of beauty in the world around you in general. It's a time to be enjoying good things in life. So don't be afraid to treat yourself and treat those you love also. Both Venus and Jupiter are associated with good vibes, abundance, and positivity. So when they combine, it's like a double dose of good luck and goodies. So you might experience an increase of abundance and optimism and positivity and feeling like everything's going to work out in the end. This conjunction could also bring about new opportunities for growth, especially with money, love, and creative expression. Jupiter likes to make things grow, and so does Venus. So they're like 2 bros broing off of each other. So this is a great time to connect to others, deepen your relationships, say the things you need to say, make your moves, do your thing. A great time to make new friends also, or just strengthen bonds in general. Go out there and enjoy something you want to do. Enjoy the good things in life. Take advantage of this. So, other possible manifestations of this transit include suddenly coming into some extra money, maybe getting a raise, finding a lucky penny on the street, or winning a big scratch-off ticket or something like that. Also, maybe you'll meet someone special or strengthen a connection with somebody who you already are involved with or that you know. This is a good time to feel more confident in your relationships and be more open to meeting new people, making it easier to form new relationships. So you also, another manifestation, you might be inspired to take up a creative hobby like painting or writing. And also, when you do this, you'll find that you're really good at it. Or maybe you'll just start seeing the beauty in the world around you, whether it's through music, art, or nature. Either way, it's a great transit to let your creative juices flow. So if you have any planets or points in the middle of the cardinal signs, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, you might feel the effects of this aspect more strongly than the other signs. These are the cardinal signs associated with initiation, action, leadership. So if you have significant placements in these signs, you might be feeling especially fired up and ready to take on the world during this aspect. On the other hand, the Virgo risings and the Gemini risings may be feeling a little bit on edge, a little bit anxious, a little bit rushed to get something done. And that is due to Mercury being at the last degrees of Aquarius. On Thursday, March 2nd, Mercury will enter Pisces. And there will be some relief for the Mercurial-ruled signs, but we'll get into that. So you know what happens when Mercury enters Pisces? Communication gets all emotional and intuitive, which can be pretty cool. People get in touch with their feelings and can be more understanding and empathetic. It's also a great time for creativity and imagination and writing poetry, painting pictures, that sort of thing, using your hands to make magic or art or beauty or to show the big picture in some way. Things can get a little bit confusing and vague also, which can lead to misunderstandings. So Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, which definitely brings some positive vibes to the mix, but Mercury is in detriment when it's in Pisces, meaning that it's a little bit harder to communicate in a clear and logical way. It's a more intuitive and emotional way of communicating. So if you're feeling extra emotional or creative during this time, that's why. So if you have any planets or points in the mutable signs, that's Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces, you might feel yourself get a lot on your plate when Mercury moves into Pisces. And over the next couple weeks, 2.5 weeks. It's a series of weeks where things might feel a lot busier for the mutable signs or more hectic than usual. But mutable signs are all about, adaptability and change, so it's nothing too crazy. But if you are a Gemini rising or a Virgo rising, again, revisiting this topic, you are getting some release from the anxiety, but you might feel yourself a little more challenged than usual during this time since Mercury, your ruling planet, is in its detriment in Pisces. It means that communication and clear thinking might be a little bit more difficult than usual, but with a little bit of patience and persistence, you can definitely be totally chill, okay? Just lean into your spirituality and your creativity and the less logical side of things for a couple of weeks. Okay, then we're on to March 7th, which is a wild day. I did mention Saturn changes signs, but we also have a full moon in Virgo on March 7th. So we have this full moon in Virgo the same time Saturn is entering Pisces. It's like there's this big spotlight from the Virgo moon shining onto Saturn's new sign for the next 3 years. A nice big usher into the next 3-year era, I should say. So the full moon on March 7th is at 16 degrees Virgo, and it's trining Uranus in Taurus. This brings a mixture of both practical, being Virgo, and unexpected, being Uranus, type of energy. You might find yourself focusing a bit more on health with an increased interest in taking care of your physical and mental well-being. That is, this big spotlight shining with Virgo, which is all about health and wellness. You might have sudden realizations or sudden creative solutions to some sort of life challenge you're dealing with. You might also experience heightened intuition and spiritual awareness, feeling more connected to your inner wisdom. But this is definitely an event type day, okay? But it can be productive You know, it is a full moon in Virgo. Virgo is about hard work and attention to detail, so you might find yourself being a little bit more focused and productive. Although I am cautioning chaos, okay? There will be some chaos this day. So, as most of us know, during a full moon, we traditionally let go of things that no longer serve us and release things. And with this full moon in Virgo and dealing with Uranus, you can definitely release old patterns and embrace new possibilities. And you're probably going to be forced to, because Saturn is changing signs also. But before we get into that, for the full moon, it is a good idea to light a candle or do some sort of release ritual. I like to light candles, but lighting a candle with the intention or doing something with the intention to release things that no longer serve you, preferably having to do with the Virgo house in your chart. So look at which house Virgo rules in your chart, look at those house topics, and you can use this full moon to release something having to do with those topics. Okay? Let the flame carry your intention into the universe. And this brings us to one of the main events of the month. We have Saturn's entry into Pisces, marking the beginning of a new 3-year era that influences both the collective and personal journeys. Pisces is associated with imagination, intuition, and spiritual growth, while Saturn can come in and help ground and give structure to these ethereal qualities. It's a good time for introspection, inner work, and spiritual exploration as we assess our values, beliefs, and sense of purpose. Thank you, Pisces, for the big picture. Saturn and Pisces, one of the big things about Saturn entering Pisces is that it will be co-present with Neptune and eventually conjoin Neptune, which can create some major tension between practicality and idealism. This sort of co-presence can create confusion and uncertainty, but this is a natural part of the process. I'm not saying to be afraid of it, but it is something to keep in mind. It's going to be a little bit wonky. There'll be people who are very firm in their beliefs. That is Saturn and Pisces, being firm in your beliefs, and not everybody agrees. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. It'll also be interesting to see what happens with the spiritual community and the divination community with Saturn entering Pisces. Are we looking at legislation? Are we looking at more structure? What's going on with that? I don't know. I do talk a lot more about Saturn entering Pisces in my 2023 overview. So if you're interested in learning more about what Saturn can do in Pisces, I recommend going to that video and checking it out. Saturn entering Pisces will have a very profound impact on how we approach our emotions, our spirituality, and also our creativity. It'll be interesting to see what happens with AI with Saturn in Pisces as well. But this is an especially big transit for the mutable signs. That's Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces risings. We're going to have Saturn angular for a bit. For about 3 years, okay? And also, the Saturn-ruled folks, that's Capricorn rising and Aquarius rising, you're going to be feeling a major shift with Saturn changing signs. It will soften you quite a bit, but expect some sort of big internal shift happening, maybe due to an external circumstance, but if there is no external circumstance, there's definitely going to be an internal shift for you. And for those of you who have Saturn in Pisces in your birth chart, a new Saturn return cycle begins, which is a time of intense self-reflection and a reckoning of personal growth. I'm sure you've heard of the Saturn return. If you're interested, you can check out the Saturn Return Survival Guide that I have just posted recently. There is a video, audio, and blog version, and there is a downloadable PDF that I recommend you check out. Go to the video. All the links are in the description of the video. And this ushers us into March 16th. A week later, we have Venus squaring Pluto and then entering Taurus. So the week between March 7th and Thursday, March 16th is going to be kind of tense. We have already a new Saturn sign, and there's going to be some big changes and shifts happening, as I keep saying, and with that comes adjustments and maybe some pushback. So the week after March 7th, when Saturn changes signs and we have that full moon and all of that hoopla, Venus will be moving into a square with Pluto. And that makes things intense. This can bring up deep emotions and hidden desires and creates a sense of passion and intensity within relationships. You might find yourself being extremely attracted to someone, or attracted to someone different than the norm, or feeling a intense urge to pursue something new. Some sort of obsession, possibly. Pluto likes to bring up obsession. So it also likes to bring up power struggles and control issues. So keep that in mind also. Like I said, there might be some sort of energetic pushback happening with all the shifts that come around March 7th. So you might be dealing with something along these lines. Venus and Pluto also bring up financial tensions. Besides relationship tensions, it also brings financial tensions. Pluto is associated with wealth and power. It's associated with the extremes, but mostly extreme wealth. And you might find yourself facing some sort of tension with money and finances, maybe financial setbacks or unexpected expenses, or feeling some sense of unease about your financial situation. But this will pass quickly when Venus enters Taurus. So I'm just kind of speaking to the intensity of the week after March 7th. There will be some sort of edgy vibes going on. And especially for the Taurus risings and the Libra risings, y'all are going to feel the intensity from the Venus-Pluto square the strongest. Again, this is something that brings up issues of control, jealousy, or possessiveness that can be difficult to navigate. You might feel the need to assert your boundaries and defend your boundaries on some level. But, try not to let it go too far. Don't become aggressive like a Pluto, or, controlling like a Pluto. So we have both the Sun and Mercury essentially conjoining Neptune at 25 degrees Pisces, while also squaring Mars in Gemini. And when the Sun and Mercury conjoin Neptune, it can definitely open up your creativity, your intuition, and your spiritual awareness. All this Pisces energy might have you feeling confused or foggy, or sinking into spirituality, sinking into a big picture of some kind. It can make things hazy. Neptune blurs things. Pisces can blur things between reality and fantasy. So it's important to try and stay grounded on this day or the days leading up to it. At the same time, when there is a square to Mars with all this, it definitely creates some tension and some conflict in the environment, especially when it comes to decision making and communicating. People might be feeling more reactive and impulsive than usual, which can lead to disagreements and misunderstandings. If things are already confusing, people are kind of frustrated about it. I'd say that the square to Mars kind of describes how frustrating it is to be confused. And also that frustration pushes you into the next level of thought, which generally is surrendering, but not always. It's an important time to not jump to conclusions necessarily, but there's probably been a lot of moving parts for the past few weeks and months leading you up to this point. And if you are going to make a big decision, you are right on time, because this is big decision month, okay? So Venus will be squaring Pluto, and like I said, tension, especially for the Venus-ruled signs. Venus will be at 29 degrees Aries, which is the anaretic degree. Like I said earlier about Pluto's anaretic degree, Venus will be super intense in Aries at 29 degrees also. So this square is a little more intense than most Venus squares. Taurus risings and Libra risings are going to be feeling extra on edge, is because that's their ruling planet. And whenever a ruling planet is at the end degrees of a sign, those signs that are ruled by that planet are also feeling intense and anxious, and like something's about to happen or something needs to happen, a deadline, some sort of rushed situation. So be aware of that kind of vibe, but relief will come later in the day. So we have some days leading up to March 16th. That is Thursday, March 16th, that are anxious and tense with those themes I mentioned. But relief will come at the end of March 16th when Venus enters Taurus. When Venus enters Taurus, it's said to be at home in its ruling sign, which can bring a nice sense of ease and comfort and stability, and can inspire you to have a renewed focus on pleasure and sensuality and beauty. So you might find yourself being drawn to indulgent experiences like a relaxing spa day to help relax after dealing with all of the changes that's been going on the first half of the month. Maybe eating a lot better as in like what you want to eat, more of it, luxurious eating, or some sort of luxurious purchase in general, buying something nice for yourself. This is a great few weeks to prioritize self-care and enjoy simple pleasures. Taurus loves that. It can also bring, Venus in Taurus can also bring a sense of stability and security to your relationships, and it's a good time to strengthen existing relationships. So it's a good time to cuddle on the couch or to hang out with your friends or flirt with people. It's a good time to work on creating a harmonious home environment also, and committing yourself to a more stable social situation or relationship. But yeah, you'll probably be more interested in like domestic pursuits like cooking, decorating, or gardening while Venus is in Taurus. And again, those of you who are ruled by Venus, the Taurus risings and Libra risings, you might be feeling a particularly strong influence from this ingress, finally feeling some relief from the stress to the square with Pluto. So overall, Venus entering Taurus will bring relief. It will bring a sense of calm and comfort and pleasure, and maybe a renewed appreciation for the simple pleasures of life after dealing with so many changes. So the next day, on March 17th, what is that? That is a Friday. We have some interesting stuff happening. We're halfway through the month, and we have a Mercury Cazimi at 26 degrees Pisces. And it is squaring Mars in Gemini, our good buddy Mars in Gemini. Mercury is at the center of the sun, and this is a very powerful moment of clarity for all of us, especially for Virgo risings, Gemini risings, and Pisces placements. Like I said, a powerful moment of clarity where the mind and the ego come together and merge as one. Mercury conjoins the sun. The sun represents the king, and when Mercury conjoins the king, Mercury is blessed with information and knowledge from the king. So you might experience a heightened sense of mental clarity and focus on March 17th. It's a good time to set new intentions and goals and have a clear understanding of what you want to achieve moving forward. It's a great time to communicate your ideas and thoughts. If you need to have a conversation, you might find that people are more receptive to your message. If you're not feeling the clarity that I am preaching about, just meditate for 10 minutes or go for a walk. You'll see. This Cazimi is powerful. So a possible manifestation of this transit is like coming to a realization of a new idea or a new project. It's a time when the mind is particularly sharp and insightful, and when new and innovative ideas can take root. You might find that you have new perspectives on things, especially old problems, or that you have a sudden breakthrough in your work or in your personal life. We love Mercury Cazimi. So it's square Mars though, okay? And this brings some restlessness and rushed energy to it. Maybe tension, maybe conflict, or extreme focus, okay? But decision-making and communication might be a little bumpier than a normal Mercury Cazimi. You might feel a little bit more impulsive or reactive than usual, maybe disagreeing with people a little bit more. But like I said, Mars can bring a sense of urgency and a need to take action quickly. And it's important to remember that clear communication is important so that you don't, jump to conclusions or something. So overall, we love a Mercury Cazimi. The Mars square brings some impulsivity and some urgency to the situation. Like a perfect example of this transit would be like you're in a situation where you need to make a difficult decision and you feel torn between multiple options. Thank you, Mars and Gemini. And during this Mercury Cazimi square Mars, you might be able to gain a lot more clarity and insight on this difficult decision, allowing you to make a better decision. But if you act impulsively without considering the consequences, you could end up causing more harm than good, essentially. So check yourself with Mars's urgency. We do like action and drive and focus, but we also don't want to rush things, right? This Cazimi is in Pisces, so meditating, I highly recommend meditating. What's super interesting about this is that Mercury moves quickly. So Mercury has this Cazimi at 26 Pisces, and then it keeps on a ripping and gets to 29 degrees. And so this Cazimi, though I love it, it might also be kind of anxiety producing for the Virgo risings and Gemini risings, because Mercury will be at, like I've been talking about, the last degrees of a sign, and that can make you feel rushed or anxious or like you need to get something done immediately. So keep that in mind. And then the relief comes on March 18th, on Saturday, March 18th, when Mercury enters Aries. And this brings a burst of relief, I would say, a burst of mental energy and enthusiasm, as Mercury is now free of its detriment and under the fiery rules of Mars. You might find yourself feeling more confident and assertive in your communication style with Mercury in Aries. It's a great time for starting new projects, pitching ideas, selling something, or making quick decisions. At the same time, the fiery energy of Aries can sometimes lead to impulsive decisions and sharp words. It's important to, not be impulsive, think before you speak, yada, 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 all that stuff. We don't want Mercury in Aries creating an environment of impulsivity and haste. It's a great time for practicing mindfulness and taking time to reflect before taking action, which I know is very challenging to do with Mercury in Aries. So there's a little bit more focus on independence and self-expression with Mercury in Aries. Aries is associated with individuality and self-reliance. So with Mercury in Aries, you might find yourself feeling more inclined to express your unique perspective and your voice. It's a great time for pursuing your own goals and asserting your independence while also being mindful of the needs and perspectives of people around you. But if you have planets or points in any of the cardinal signs, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, you might find yourself with a lot on your plate for the next couple weeks. If you're a Gemini rising or a Virgo rising, you might be feeling a big boost of energy as Mercury, your ruling planet, leaves its detriment in Pisces, has its renewal Cazimi moment, and then enters the fiery sign of Aries. So it's kind of like a phoenix. I wouldn't say burning up. It's like a phoenix getting washed away and then renewed. And then you have all this energy when Mercury enters Aries to then go for your new goals that were realized during the Cazimi. And now we're moving on to Monday, March 20th. That is when the Sun enters Aries and Aries season begins. And happy birthday month to Aries Suns. So when the Sun enters Aries, it marks the beginning of Aries season, which lasts from approximately March 20th to April 19th. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and its energy is associated with new beginnings, taking initiative, and asserting yourself. During Aries season, you might feel a renewed sense of motivation and energy. It's a great time to start new projects, take on challenges. This is the first day of spring. It's the equinox. We love when there is equal light and dark in the day. Aries is associated with courage and confidence and a willingness to take risks. So you might find yourself feeling more daring and adventurous than usual with the Sun and Mercury in Aries. On the flip side, I've been talking about this a lot. Aries can be impulsive, impatient, hasty, snappy. It's important to balance your desire for action and progress with a sense of practicality and patience. My Mars in Aries has that problem all the time. Aries season is a time of heightened energy and passion. And it's important to be mindful of your reactions and avoid, unnecessary conflict. So here are 5 ways to take advantage of Aries season. Number 1, start new projects. Aries is a sign of new beginnings, and therefore a great time to start new projects or take on new challenges. Launching a new business, starting a new workout routine, or taking a class on a new subject are all great ideas. Also, spring cleaning. Number 2, Aries season is a time of fresh starts, and one way to embrace this energy is by cleaning out your living space. Donate old clothes, declutter your home, or rearrange your furniture. Number 3, assert yourself. Aries is a sign associated with confidence, courage, assertiveness, and during this season you might find yourself feeling more confident and assertive in your interactions with other people. And this is a great time to speak up for yourself, set boundaries, and assert your needs. Number 4, embrace spontaneity. Aries is a sign, like I have been saying, associated with impulsiveness and therefore spontaneity. And so during Aries season, you might feel a strong urge to do something impulsive, whether it is taking a last-minute trip or taking on a new hobby, a surprising new hobby, like glass blowing or tattooing. Number 5, another last thing I'm going to mention that's great for Aries season, focusing on some sort of physical activity. So Aries is associated with energy and physical activity, and you might be feeling more motivated to exercise or engage in some sort of movement. It's a great time to start a new workout routine and try a new sport or get outside and just enjoy nature, not necessarily doing anything sweaty. But overall, it's a great season for growth, renewal, and a fresh start. It's a time to tap into your inner strength and courage and take action with your goals and embrace new challenges and opportunities. I will say, Taurus risings during Aries season, this is your chill time, okay? Your 12th house season is the time for rest. So Taurus risings might be feeling more like embracing this type of archetype, this Aries energy, in more of a alone time space or more by yourself and that sort of thing. And if you're interested in learning why Aries has the associations it has, check out my TikTok. I do a TikTok about every season and why the signs have the associations they have. The link to my TikTok is in the description. Okay, and then on March 21st, we have Tuesday, March 21st, the new moon at 0 degrees Aries because the sun just ingressed. Of course, this will be squaring Mars also, sextile Pluto. But overall, the big thing is that it's at 0 degrees Aries, okay? And this is an intense, fresh new start type energy. Fresh new start, fresh new beginnings. And this energy is particularly potent for the Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn placements, but it's going to affect all of us in some way. You might feel a big sense of renewed motivation and passion with your goals for this new moon. You might be inspired to take action towards manifesting these goals right away. But we have this square to Mars. We're always squaring Mars. It's not by sign, but it's close by degree, okay? And so the Mars aspect can bring a sense of urgency or tension to the new beginning, especially when it comes to decision making. So, there could be some sort of atmosphere of impulsiveness or impatience with this new moon in Aries. You might feel a little bit more on edge than usual, and it might be difficult to stay focused and productive, but it's important to maintain clear communication and avoid jumping to conclusions for this new moon. It's going to be a powerful new beginning, though, and it's a good time to be assertive and take action towards your goals. So if you're looking to make changes in your life, try lighting a candle or doing some sort of manifestation ritual with the intention to manifest your specific thing that you want. Whether it's manifesting desires or manifesting tackling a project you've been putting off, take some time, set your intention, focus your energy. This can be a powerful tool. And now we are on to the biggest event of the year, in my opinion. We have March 23rd, Thursday, Pluto enters Aquarius. And Pluto has not changed signs since 2008. I've been preaching this a lot, and I'm sorry, but Pluto has not changed signs since 2008. It has been in Capricorn since then. So now it's changing signs and a new era is upon us. Pluto moves super slowly through the zodiac, taking about 248 years or something like that to complete its full orbit. So transits through each sign last for years, even a decade or more. So Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and it's going to bring some major shifts to the collective consciousness. We're talking about majorly transformative change, innovation, and revolution, all in the name of progressive ideas, technology, and social change. So get ready for some futuristic tech and new ideas that will definitely be challenging the status quo. Gen Z is growing up, okay? While Pluto's in Aquarius, we might see a new wave of social movements and activism focused on technology, AI, and automation in general. People are becoming more aware of the potential consequences of these advancements and will hopefully want to influence the developments positively. Plus, we'll see more breakthroughs in space exploration and new frontiers of knowledge with aliens and stuff. We're already kind of seeing this. But on a personal level, this is a transit that can bring a sense of radical transformation and reinvention. People might feel a strong desire to break free of old patterns and beliefs and embrace new ways of thinking and living. And these are things you can't really imagine before they happen, you know? It's a time of intense personal growth and empowerment, and also a time of upheaval and uncertainty. And the upcoming shift in Pluto entering Aquarius will have a significant impact on those with fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius will be feeling some sort of major shift at the end of March or in March in general. And cardinal placements will also be feeling this major shift because Pluto has been harassing them since 2008. And when it moves into Aquarius, it will be leaving them alone for a little bit. But keep in mind that Pluto is set to retrograde back into Capricorn over the summer, which means that it's only briefly entering Aquarius this year before fully transitioning in 2024. So basically, Pluto's just dipping its toes into Aquarius, and we're all just getting a little taste of what's to come in 2024. But we kind of need this. We need little baby steps, right? So I talk more about Pluto and Aquarius in depth in my 2023 astrology overview. The link to that content is in the description. All right, and now it's on to March 25th. We have Saturday, March 25th. The last malefic makes its ingress. Mars enters Cancer, which Mars has been in Gemini for the past 7 months. That is just so wild to me. Thank you, Mars retrograde. Okay, so I'm hyping this up a bit, but this is the easiest malefic ingress in the sense that Mars is a very quick malefic, the quickest malefic, but the dignity brings us some trouble, okay? The dignity of Mars entering Cancer. You might notice a shift in how you handle emotions or how people in general are handling their emotions and how they are taking action. Mars is all about action and drive, while Cancer is a water sign associated with emotions and sensitivity and home and comfort. So things might get a little bit complicated with our actions driven by our feelings and our emotional needs, much less than logic. So with Mars in its fall in Cancer, that means that Mars is pretty much at its weakest when it's in Cancer. So we might feel frustrated and tense if we're feeling blocked and inhibited with our actions, feeling like we can't move forward because we might blow up or something like that. People might be a lot more defensive and reactive with Mars in Cancer, which could lead to a lot more conflict with others. So to avoid the misunderstandings and the unnecessary tension, it's important to stay grounded and communicate clearly with those who want to hear you. That's important. The Aries risings and the Scorpio risings, who are ruled by Mars, might be feeling at a bit of a disadvantage when Mars enters Cancer because it's in its fall. And additionally, with the cardinal signs, the Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, you'll be feeling the effects of Mars in Cancer a bit more strong. On the other hand, the mutable signs, the Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces, will be feeling a bit of a break when Mars finally leaves their angular houses. Okay, and now we're on to the last aspect of the month that I want to talk about. That is March 30th, Thursday, March 30th. We have Venus conjoining Uranus at 16 degrees Taurus. And this is some fireworks to end the month with. We've had enough fireworks, I would say, but this is some more fireworks. So when Venus and Uranus come together, things related to love, relationship, money, and values suddenly change on some level, or are unique on some level, non-traditional, non-conforming, untraditional. This can be exciting, but it also can be unpredictable and unstable and chaotic on some level. When it comes to love, you might be suddenly attracted to someone who you're not usually attracted to, or like kind of surprises you how attracted you are to them. Or maybe they're unconventional or different in some level. Or a relationship could suddenly end, or just as unexpectedly be reconciled. As for money and values, you could experience surprising windfalls or surprising losses, some sort of unexpected hap with your material stuff, or a shift in priorities having to do with your material stuff. Like maybe you'll quit your job to chase a passion project, or simplify your life on some level and give up a bunch of material things. But overall, March 30th and the days leading up to it are a good time to embrace change. This is a whole month, I guess I should say, that is a good time to embrace change and explore new possibilities. So that's about it for this month. Overall, it is a month for embracing change and exploring new possibilities. It might be a bit bumpy, but it's also going to be kind of liberating and exciting on some levels. So buckle up and get ready to see where this month takes you. Comment below and let me know if you have something that you're expecting coming up this month. A lot of the time, we kind of know what these changes are because all of the moving parts have been setting us up for this shift. And if you want to join a cool occult community full of friendly mystics, you are welcome to join the 9th House Discord server. It's free. The link to join is in the description. I also have to mention that I write weekly horoscopes and monthly horoscopes for people who are interested in knowing what to expect on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. The monthly horoscopes are personalized, and I give you remediations to help you with the month as well. And those horoscopes are via my Patreon. The link to join and check it out is in the description. I think that's all the announcements I have. Thank you again for your support. Good luck this month, friends, and let's compare stories in the comments. And with that being said, I will see you next time, friends. Bye!